you go. Welcome, everybody. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Are we live? That's it? That's how you're going to tell us we're live?
Showbiz.
We are live. Watch party for college basketball, even though right now we are watching the Raw after Mania, the greatest Raw of the calendar year. But we are here, thank you, Fox Sports and Gambler, by the way, but we're here thanks to the KUTT Sports Betting App. Plenty of prizes that you will be able to win today. All you got to do is sign up. There are QR codes. Our guys right there, Sean Bernard and Beef, going to be walking around with codes. We can win prizes. All you got to do is play some trivia, guess some things that are going to happen in this game, and maybe Joe Tanzi will be able to help you with that. My name is Sean Jansen, also joined by the Philly Captain. Are you as exhausted as I am, Philly Captain? It's been a weekend.
Watching wrestling's hard.
Oh my gosh!
And they do these things now where they have 2 nights of wrestling instead of 1 night of wrestling, and I'm exhausted because when I go to a wrestling event, I don't just watch the wrestling.
I'm invested.
I walk around the stadium. I take in the event. I go into the stores. So I walked 30 miles the last 3 days.
You walked 30 miles?
Yeah, it's not an exaggeration. I can show you the app.
God.
But it's been exhausting. I and watching these wrestlers, and I was watching like Cody Rhodes. He was doing interviews all day.
Yep.
Today's Show, Philadelphia Morning Show, and now he's out here. These professional wrestlers, these WWE superstars are one of the hardest working group of
Yes, they are.
artistic performers there are. And people mock these men and women. They say they're not athletes, but I if I did any of these things that these 2 men are doing in the ring right now,
That would not go well.
I would be paralyzed for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that would not go very well. We are also here not just for Raw After Mania. We're mostly here college basketball,
sports.
Purdue. Oh, wow. That's what you're going to do, Joe. After what an amazing weekend of wrestling in Philly, and that's how you want to start.
Who would win a wrestling match between Zach Edey and Donovan Clingan?
I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe Zach Edey?
You got an actual freak as a way against a somewhat athletic 7-footer.
Yeah, Clingan's a little athletic. I do like that.
And he's got like a wrestling name because they call him Kling Kong.
So I do want to ask before we get into the betting odds of this. And by the way, again, we're going to be having guys go around with QR codes, get you signed up for KUTT, and also be putting some answers in for the game today,
Yep.
win some prizes.
If I'm one of the people watching this at home, right? Is there a way for me to get the app KUTT? By the way, you spell KUTT K-U-T-T, not C-U-T.
Yes.
Because listen, I know the guy from KUTT's here, but I'm going to let him know. I hate when businesses spell the goddamn words wrong.
Oh, I love
Have you ever seen ambulance?
I used to be.
Have you seen this company, Ambulance, and they end it with a Z? It's ambulance with a Z.
I used to be.
I'd rather die than get saved by an ambulance.
Back in the day when I was a kid and AIM, I would not spell cool C-O-O-L. I do it K-E-W-L. I love doing all that weird stuff. Brace does not type out any words correctly.
He does not.
He still does the letter just U for you. He does THX for thanks.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't. Yeah, so I'm a big fan of modifying the words a little bit.
Not to fire some shots, but
You're about to.
Sean can't spell some of the words in
Come
abbreviates
on,
either.
that's not right.
Spelling's highly overrated, just so you know. It's not that big of a But
Joe,
anyway, speaking of not spelling good, don't forget the best social betting platform is KUTT. K-U-T-T, because let's spell it wrong twice with 2 T's.
KUTT.com. Put your money where your mouth is.
It's a good thing, too, because like if I was going to bet you, and I know you're like a jerk-off, and you're not going to pay off the bet.
I am.
We put the money into the KUTT app.
Yeah,
and then your jerk-off friend has to pay.
I've already lost plenty of money on the KUTT app.
That's
on KTT.com, referral code GAMBLER when you sign up. And then you can see right now on the KUTT app, UConn, 7-point favorites against the Boilermakers. Joe, though, these are the 2 best teams in college basketball?
Yes. And I'm glad we get it because the NCAA tournament has been kind of boring.
Wow, it's been boring. I mean, first round was okay.
You know what wasn't boring? That WrestleMania weekend.
That was not boring.
It was pretty goddamn good.
We should get a great game tonight then.
We should. And I think that's what it's been building up to, right? Because you have UConn and Purdue, who for the longest time this season have been the top 2 teams in college basketball. And I've kind of compared it to the Gonzaga-Baylor season, right? Well, what happened in that game in that season? Was it 2019?
Yeah, 2019, I think.
Baylor blew the brakes off of Gonzaga. Does that happen tonight where the team we think is second best?
Well,
wins?
what I do think coming into this one though is then Gonzaga had a brutal tough matchup in the semifinal leading up to it, and they were gassed. They were in overtime. They had a really tough time getting there. I feel like these two teams have been pretty dominant.
But I think you can make the argument though that UConn did have the taxing game.
Is that 100-year-old nun part of this game? You know that 100-year-old nun, Sister Mary? Is she part of it?
No.
All right. I don't watch.
Still,
I don't watch college basketball.
Still alive, by the way.
How about John Chaney and the Temple Owls? Are they?
I'm gonna say no.
No.
They're not in this as well.
Okay.
Temple could have been in it.
They could have.
Yeah, they were close.
They were a bad team all year, I thought.
They were horrible.
Were they in the
To
knit?
the point where they were in a betting scandal.
I don't want to get too technical. Were they in the knit?
No, but in their conference
But they were
championship.
one game away from
one
the
game
NCAA.
away from the tournament. They literally were one game away, one win away.
They
from
went on
getting
like a
into the
miracle
tournament.
run in the conference tournament.
How wild is that? Temple.
That they lost by a game. It's not that wild.
It's wild.
I think
They were
it's
one
more
game
wild
away.
that there's a company spelled KUTT and they spelled it wrong twice.
KUTT.com. So Joe Tanzi, we are getting UConn 7-point favorites. That's the thing that's kind of getting me here. It's the spreads are going to continue to go up for UConn because over and over again they cover and they cover and they cover some more and they cover again. And here's another chance to cover a 7-point spread, which seems like a lot. And we've been doing this the entire time though. It's okay. UConn's going up against a good team now.
Mhm.
It's too many points. It's too many points against Illinois. It was too many points against Alabama, and all they do is cover. So is this, I guess we ask the question again, for the whatever game in a row that they've been in on this run, can they cover this large number?
They can, but Purdue's also 5-0 against the spread in the tournament too. So that's the thing where if you really if you take your gut out of it, you kind of break down this matchup. They're both 5-0 against the spread. They've both been equally as dominant. I think UConn gets all the headlines, but I mean, look, Purdue has a 7'4" giant that they just throw the ball into, and nobody else has anything remotely close to that. And
except for now, UConn might have something remotely close.
They have the closest thing to that in Donovan Clingan. So, I think this is so evenly matched. I think we're in for a low-scoring game regardless of who wins.
Wow,
What's the over-under?
145 is going 143, but 145.
So what we're saying, like a low 70s.
Not even.
So you're saying bet the under.
60s.
Yeah. You're saying take every penny in my bank account and put it on the under.
Well, that would be irresponsible.
Is
so
Purdue's defense going to be good enough for that?
What if I'm doing it on the KUTT app, KUTT?
KUTT.
I should put all my money into that, right?
And I know here, if you use the QR code, everybody in here using the QR code, it is 145 for a yes or no if it's going to be more than 145.
Look, I think this game.
So you're saying no?
I think it's going to fly under. I mean, you look. UConn hasn't given up outside of the.
I think
Alabama
UConn's
game.
defense is going to be great. I think they'll be great.
They neutralize each other so well, and the one thing, look, if you're Purdue and you run into trouble, you throw it into your 7-footer and score. Well, now does that matchup take time getting used to? Because UConn's got someone probably more agile. I don't know. I
definitely more agile.
I'd probably go as far as saying more skilled. And if you talk to NBA draft scouts, that's what it seems like. So that matchup neutralizes the guard matchup, which I think has been really kind of the underrated storyline of this game. That kind of neutralizes itself too, because you have Castle, you have Caravan, you have all of these guys on UConn that are so used to playing so tough defense, making shots. Well, Purdue's got those guys too. Braden Smith, Lance Jones, you name it. So I think this is a very even matchup. And the way both of these defenses have been playing, man, I just don't see how a high-scoring game comes to be. Because if UConn wins, they're holding the team under. About Bama had barely got to that 70-point mark, and the game even went under because it was in the 160s. UConn's 11-1 in their last 12 games to the under. That's very significant. And then you have Purdue, who it's not like they're playing high-scoring games either. And everything that UConn does, Purdue does well as well. So I think we're getting a game that probably scratches the 70s. And it's worth noting, these national title games typically aren't as high-scoring as we want them to be.
No, yeah. And I do think Edey is the one that drives the offense. They get easy points off of Edey. If that's not happening in this game, and look, UConn's defense has been pretty much great every single game. Alabama's the only team to break more than 50, by the way, so more than 60. So they've held teams to under 60 points all tournament long. And then here comes Alabama, really fast team, think can maybe put up 80. They put up barely 72 points. So I do think this is going to be low scoring. The only thing for me is can Purdue's defense stop this efficient UConn offense? It is so efficient every single game. I could see UConn getting probably into at least the 70s.
I could see that. I think really it all depends on – I hate to do this, but it kind of does depend on the whistle, right?
Because, it depends on the whistle Edey gets, for sure.
Because if Edey is being played pretty equally by Klingon, and he doesn't have.
Is that something we just have to account for all the time? I mean, because I know it's like, what kind of whistle do we get? And I just feel like he's always going to get the whistle.
We tried to account for it in the Final Four, and he shot 2 free throws. And
Sure.
that game fell apart after O'Connell, whatever he did with his knee on the floor for NC State. NC State's offense just got completely mangled after that, and they weren't able to recover. And that game went very, very, very low under. Look, I think there's a way that Purdue scores. I just don't know. I don't think it's going to be all Edey. And I think he struggles to get to 20 tonight. I really do. I think that the matchup there is going to be tough. That being said, my gut kind of says Purdue does this.
Whoa. Purdue wins?
Like, I've been very wrong against UConn. But I look at this and
this guy. Purdue's winning today.
But if
this guy. Come on.
If that's going to happen, right? The best player in the country, the National Player of the Year, takes over and wins that matchup with a projected top 3 pick.
Right.
And that takes away one of UConn's biggest strengths. Because what has Klingon done so much at the rim? He's blocked shots. He's rebounded. He's done everything a big man's supposed to do. But now he's going up against someone, what, 2-3, at least 2-3 inches taller than him?
Yeah, that's always the problem. And Edey's not athletic, but he is skilled. You know, he knows obviously how to work in the post very well.
So
I wonder if that experience and that skill is going to take over for Klingon, who is, to me, the more athletic and, again, NBA type player than Edey is.
Do you agree, Philly Cap?
I'm really excited that The Rock's back in the wrestling. I'm super stoked that he had that match with Cody Rhodes. I like wrestling. Were you guys talking? I blanked out. Were you guys talking?
Oh, no, okay.
Because that Caitlin Clark, she's something special. I'll tell you.
What does your gut say tonight? Just give me a gut pick. Because that's probably,
I'll tell you the truth. When you tell me Purdue, I think a bunch of white guys, so I go the other team.
Sure.
I mean, that's better than any of the...
Can you say that these days? I mean, honestly,
that's fair. Big Ten basketball.
So I think. So I think I'm thinking the movie Hoosiers.
Have you seen a picture of Zach Edey? Are you going to be like astonished when you see him on the television?
Well,
he's a massive.
I say he's massive, but like his
name's Zach Edey.
Yes.
Okay.
He's
E-D-E-Y.
a 7'4" Canadian.
Does he spell
center.
it C-A-C-H?
Yes.
Or is he,
Yes,
okay,
he's
so
a C-H.
So he's a white fella.
Yes.
Wow.
He's actually a Canadian fella.
Nah.
Yeah.
Canadian basketball player?
A 7'4" Canadian basketball player.
Listen, I don't want to get canceled, but I never knew Canadians played basketball. I thought they just did the hockey. Some of them occasionally play lacrosse, and a few of them wrestle. Like that guy.
I mean, Steve Nash.
If I listen to you close enough, you kind of sound Canadian with your accent.
No, I sound like a guy born in Kensington, and I moved to Port Richmond.
But
it's next door.
If I sprinkled a little bit of maple syrup on you,
don't you dare! I got texture issues. I don't eat maple syrup.
Sticky.
I don't do jelly.
Really, no maple syrup. Too sticky, I guess.
I can't do it. I can't do it. Jelly. I used to work at a deli, and I would have to put jelly on bagels, but I would never put a lot because it would freak me out. And I had a lady almost get me fired. She said I was too cheap with the jelly.
Oh.
And I called her.
You just had to tell her I had a fear of jelly.
I said, listen, I don't like touching this stuff. Why don't you make the bagel at home like a normal person? Like who the fuck goes out? Who the heck goes out to the deli to make a bagel? You know?
Yeah, or a jelly bagel too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, come on.
listen, by the way, honey, the jelly's not doing you
It's
any
like
favor.
well, if I order a bagel at a restaurant or like a toast, I put jelly on my own toast. You know
Right.
what I mean?
See, that's
I don't
why
get
I
the
like
jelly
you.
to get. Yeah,
That's why I like.
Yeah.
So the big white guy's playing what's the other school got?
UConn.
What they got?
They've got a
everything.
7-2 guy.
They have a
is he
Danny
white?
Hurley.
Yes.
Is he skinny? Are they skinny?
He's athletic.
But
He's
is
not
he-
skinny. No, he's not like skinny
Is
tall.
he? Are they Manute Bulls? Or are they Joel
No.
Embiid?
They're in the middle.
In the middle. So they're Sean Bradley.
They're like the second stage.
Sean
They're like the
Bradley.
second form of
Jeez.
Pokemon.
Listen, listen. You come to me for all the
Yes, because
the
Philly
good
Captain
references.
knows Pokemon very well.
Does
Are
that
you a Pokemon
translate?
guy, Philly Captain?
Pokemon guy.
Yeah.
I like women.
Nice.
So no.
Okay.
No,
I do too, but I also like Pokemon.
No, I had Pokemon Go when it first came out,
Oh, nice.
and
nice. Getting your
and then
steps
like
in
I did it for about three days, and then I realized, what am I doing with myself? Life is so precious.
Yeah, it's-
I should be watching.
Why are you walking around staring
Life-
at your phone?
life is so precious. You got to catch them all. You know, you got to figure it out.
But and then I found out that they're going to be making new ones. Is that still a game, Pokemon Go?
Yes, it is.
Mhm.
Do people still play it?
I don't.
They do. They
But
have
they do, yeah.
groups of people that meet and they
Yeah.
walk around this. I see them sometimes.
You should pick up Pokemon Go
Yeah.
again. Maybe you should go out and
No, these people look like pathetic losers, and I don't want anything to do with them. I'm a wrestling,
which is not
I'm a
not any-
wrestling
which is
fan.
not
We're sophisticated people. I don't know.
sophisticated losers.
We have a group here and they want to play. So if you're out there and you want to know how to play, just scan a QR code. The guys will walk around, show you where it is, answer some questions, win some prizes. We're giving away gift cards, a Corona cooler,
That's it. Cool.
some
cooler.
pint glasses. So we're gonna give out a pint every commercial, and maybe the bartender will fill it for you.
a pint every commercial. How
Yeah,
about
let's
that?
go.
A pint of what, like a pint glass or
Yeah,
like
it's a Sam Adams pint glass.
a Sam Adams.
Yeah,
I don't do that.
and maybe they'll fill it for you. Who knows?
That sounds too
Well,
sophisticated.
know what I would recommend? If anybody's here, I don't know if you heard about Nick's roast beef sandwiches, but the roast beef sandwich is banging. It's one of the best sandwiches in the city.
That is a fantastic sandwich.
Yeah, and the
Yum.
fries are good too. Don't be sleeping on the fries. Sometimes you go to places and the fries are garbage. They're decent fries. They're good fries.
I could
The
almost
bread's-
ruin an entire sandwich for me if the fries are bad because it has to it has to be a complete package.
Do you eat when you eat food? Do you eat fries then sandwich, or do you?
No, I
do
pick
you
it both.
double?
I honestly do end up going for the fries first. That's like the warm up a little bit.
When I eat
I
fast
don't
food,
eat
I
all
do
the
that.
fries, but I go for the fries.
You
first.
separate.
When I do fast food, I do that. But when I'm out, like a civilized person,
Mhm.
no, I kind of
You
down
go
the wall.
when you go to like Lebec Finn, you get French fries. Lebec Finn's a fancy restaurant.
I have
I'm
no
sorry.
idea what that is.
Sorry,
do I look like a
culture?
Do I look like a guy that
you
puts
look
my pinky out and goes to
Yeah, you
Lebec
could-
Finn?
I'm just saying.
You put on a suit and tie. Go
I'm
to some
surprised. I'm
fancy
surprised you
restaurant.
know what Lebec Finn is.
Yeah, you'd
after
be
10 minutes
surprised.
talking to you.
You'd be surprised what I know. You'd be
Philly
surprised.
Captain's a fine diner.
I used to work at the most
You didn't give me a
exclusive.
pick, by the way.
I used the white guys.
So
My
Well, that's
Purdue
that's a
or UConn.
kind of coward's way out.
Yeah.
Just pick somebody.
Purdue.
I
Where's-
don't
where's
care.
UConn?
Where's Purdue located?
Indiana.
Indiana.
Yeah.
All right. And there was
UConn is in Connecticut.
they got good hot dogs. They got the hot dogs.
Yeah, the Hartford hot dog
Hartford
place.
hot dogs,
Yeah,
and they got
yeah,
the potato
very
sticks
good.
they put on the hot
Yes,
dogs.
they do. Oh, it's
Yeah.
fantastic.
I'm going to go with UConn just because I like their hot dogs.
Front runner. Okay.
I'm going
Got
with
it.
I'm not a front runner.
I'm going
I
with
don't know
UConn.
anything about the team. I just thought the 7-foot guy was a black guy. I don't know anything.
I am going with UConn as well. Is that so? You're going Purdue.
I don't know.
Are you taking the 7 or money line?
I'm definitely the under is my play. I think it's gonna be a low scoring game in the 60s. You know what? I'll be different. I'll take Purdue tonight, straight up.
I have seen a lot of Purdue with the getting 7, and I get it, but I don't know. How many times does UConn have to dominate teams for me just to realize? And Purdue's doing well. It's
Yeah.
not like Purdue hasn't. Purdue is very good, but it feels like we are grading these teams on a different scale compared to UConn.
So
Like it's okay. Illinois' offense is good, but is it good against UConn's defense? You know, Alabama's offense is good, but is it good against UConn's defense? You know, Purdue is one of the best teams. Again, the second best team in college basketball, but does that even get them close to UConn, who is by
best
far
team, yeah.
the best team in college basketball? Like I'm wrestling with that question so much. Wrestling with that.
Ah, speaking of wrestling, look at that.
look at you. What a good host.
WWE champion Damian Priest.
Beautiful. Look at
Yo,
that suit.
went to wrestling school in New Jersey.
Monster Factory.
Monster Factory. Yeah, it's where
Shout out Monster Factory.
I don't know if I ever bragged about this to you, but I'm a professional wrestling manager. I manage Onslaught, the hairiest, scariest man in professional wrestling. And me and Onslaught.
Is that proven? Is that a fact that he's the hairiest?
You show me a hairier shoulder in the world. Most wrestlers know what they do. They shave.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They want to show off their body.
You got to look good.
Onslaught, he figured, you know what? I'm so hairy, it's disgusting. Nobody's going to want to touch me. People are going to be like, they're just going to get the match over, and Onslaught will pin them.
That is a solid strategy.
Well, I'm his manager. I'm the greatest manager.
Is that
to come
what you
out
told
of
him?
Philadelphia.
Hey, yeah.
Yes.
No
So,
shaving.
I'm not bragging or nothing. I had 2 matches this week.
Did you win?
I lost both of them.
Oh.
I got punched in the face by Big Dan Champion, one of the guys who used to manage
Now
me.
I got to go the other way. If you're betting UConn, I got to go the other way. You're just losing all weekend.
Right.
Yeah, but that means I'm due. You're either hot or you're due. Right now I'm due.
The good news is John's pretty bad at gambling, and I've been pretty bad in March Madness.
Terrible gambling.
None of our opinions really matter.
I find most people. I do a lot of things with the social media, and I do stuff with other places, and I do shows, and I find out off the air, just so everybody knows when I watch this, nobody's good at gambling.
No.
That's why they all have jobs as radio show hosts, because they don't know what the hell they're doing.
I don't know what I'm doing as a host.
Think about this, folks. If they were good at gambling, wouldn't they just gamble? Why would they waste their time?
That's why we're here hawking KUTT and Nick's roast beef. That's why we're here. We're bad gamblers. We have to pay the bills.
Well, I'm here to talk about wrestling because I'm the greatest professional wrestler to come out of Philadelphia. And don't forget, folks, you spelled KUTT the wrong way. KUTT. 2 T's for that time you ducked out of. I don't know what 2 T's would be, but
2 technicals.
It's a great. And what's one of the questions on the thing, if you want to take part of it tonight, is who will be leading the game at the first commercial break,
which is going to be UConn. I think UConn's going to dominate from the first whistle to the last.
Well, hold on. What if somebody gets hurt?
Well, we don't want that.
I'm just talking about if you're going to make a bet. What if you go to the game, you buy a ticket to the game, you throw a chair and make a commercial break happen? You saw about the guy at the Super Bowl who jumped on the field, and you know what he did? He bragged, and they said, "No way, no bet, no bet."
Yes,
no
they
bet.
didn't. That guy is an idiot.
Yeah,
that is so dumb. Don't do anything.
People who make content for the social media are so dumb.
So,
by the way, check out my YouTube channel, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
Yes, Philly Captain.
Philly Captain.
So I do think that UConn, I think they dominate whistle to whistle. Again, I've been wrestling with this whole thing of is Purdue going to be the team good enough? Is Purdue the one good enough? And I think this is the best version of Purdue we've ever seen. This is the best Purdue team. This is the best Zach Edey and the best maybe player of the year we've got. I mean, he's been experienced. He's been so dominant.
When did Purdue get good?
A couple
They've
years.
been good.
They
just don't do well in the tournament. They're like
Ivy League, right?
Not even close.
Not even
no. Big Ten.
Big Ten.
So
they're
Penn
not
State's,
even that smart. So maybe
they're like Penn State.
They're pretty
Penn
smart.
State.
Yeah, they're like Big
don't
Ten.
say it like that because they did some horrible things. Google Jerry Sandusky.
Not that, but the sports, the athletics, the league that they're in. The league that they're in.
Purdue actually produces a lot of astronauts.
Really?
Fun fact.
We don't have astronauts no more. Like we don't even have NASA. What are you talking about?
Josh Dobbs, wasn't he an astronaut?
He was, yeah. He was like an astronautical engineer.
They work for. Didn't you hear the news? Elon Musk runs NASA now. He
runs NASA.
He bought SpaceX.
Do they break down as much as his Teslas?
I don't know. I'll never buy one of those things. By the way, you're a sucker if you buy an electric car. Just going out. You don't have an electric car sponsor, do you?
How do we get to it now?
I don't know. But if you,
well, I mean, we're not getting one anymore now.
No, because listen, I don't know if you watch the news, but people were driving through Chicago in the winter, and batteries die faster in the cold. They're not going to come out with a cure for warm batteries in the next 10 years.
They got to cure warm battery disease.
Right. There's other things to worry about than Elon Musk. And they're going to make us buy these stupid cars with batteries, and their cars are going to be blowing up. We're all dead.
So back to UConn.
Oh, yeah. By the way, don't forget, download the KUTT app, KUTT.
KUTT.
Look, you ever see the barcode?
.com.
Look, what you do. Give me the barcode. You zoom in, and you can play the game, right? They can zoom in, right?
I think so.
Or they can look at it, just zoom in and play the game with us. It's on the screen, too. Wow, I love the way the internet works. I think Purdue's going to win. Did I tell you that yet?
Yes, you did.
I know I said UConn.
You
they
said
got the
UConn.
hot dogs.
So how about
You're so interested in this game, you've already flip-flopped on your pick.
I need Beef's opinion too. So Luke and Beef, why don't you come up here? I'll get you
yeah.
guys. I'll take you guys. You can take over for Joe. Beef can take over for Philly Captain.
Download
We
cut.
can get download
KUTT.
cut. We can get more predictions here. How are the Phillies doing, Luke? How are the Phillies doing? They're up 2-0. Oh wow.
Johan
okay.
Rojas has 2 hits.
Oh wow. He's actually allowed to hit a baseball. That's great. Good for him. Oh, that's good. So Luke Arcani joining me, host of Luke and I, which you can find on FoxBHOGambler.com and download the podcast. Go rate, review, subscribe, Luke and I. And then also Beef, Ryan Coyle. Can you believe? I mean, you're a Purdue guy too. I can't say this. I was about to say, can you believe Joe is saying Purdue has a chance? And you're here with the Purdue ticket, aren't you?
I do. I do have a Purdue ticket.
Yes, you do.
From the beginning of the season.
How strongly are you feeling
What
about
was that
ticket?
number? 14-1.
14-1.
Oh. But how strongly am I feeling about it? This UConn team is definitely something this Purdue team hasn't seen all year, but I do believe in vengeance, the revenge tour that Purdue's out on.
So a very Virginia-esque run is what you're
exactly.
You're saying. The story will be finished for Purdue.
I'm gonna need one of those powers. And I think Zach Edey, with the chance to be a 2-time National Player of the Year, go out as a national champion as well, cements himself as a top 10 college basketball player of all
What do you
time.
think that matchup is going to be tonight between Klingon and him? Because I imagine Edey hasn't had too many players that he's faced that have been able to match him sort of skill wise, and especially with size as well. Kalkbrenner was one in Creighton, but really he hasn't faced that all that often. And here comes Klingon, who's really good big, probably going to be top 5 in the NBA draft potentially. Yeah. So that matchup to me, how do you think that ends up going? Because I think that is the key. If Klingon can get some stops, that's big for them in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, the story around Edey all the time is the whistle that he gets and the ability to draw fouls and get to the line.
He's going to get the whistle all the time.
If he does against Klingon, then they have to go to Samson Johnson. They're off the bench. Is Edey able to take advantage of that as well?
He didn't get that whistle as much last game, right?
I think he only shot 2 free throws.
Only 2 of them, right?
Yeah,
so
two from the line.
I mean, that
he's going to get more than 2 free throws tonight.
That to me shows that they can still beat good teams without him shooting free throws.
And that game was never really in doubt either.
No.
But it's just Donovan Klingon has been on a defensive tear. And since the beginning of the year, he was never really healthy. I think over these last 10 to 12 games, you've really seen him at his full strength. And that's kind of why now he's being talked about as a potential top 5, maybe even the top pick in this year's draft. And
top pick is in question too. Wow.
When you look at him play tonight, you're not going to be blown away and be like, wow, this guy is a franchise-changing player. But it's such a weak draft. When you're getting with him, you're getting a guy that plays hard, runs the floor, and is able to protect the rim and rebound the ball, and has shown the ability to step out and shoot it a little bit. So he still has a raw skill set. He's only a sophomore still, so he's a young player.
Yeah, that's the thing, too, is that Edey's been so experienced that I feel like that's going to play a part in this as well. And that he's played a ton of college basketball. He's played a ton in games like this, not championship, obviously, but he's been to tournaments. He's played a ton of college basketball. I imagine that experience is going to have to play a factor in this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what I was saying at the beginning, where he has a chance, I think, to cement himself as one of the 10 greatest college basketball players ever. And I don't really think it should be discounted what he's done because of getting fouls and going to the line and shooting for a lot of free throws. He puts up 20 and 10 every single night when he rolls out of bed.
But he's got to win.
Yeah,
he's got to win.
If he wins, he does cement himself as one.
Speaking of that, Luke, who does win? Who does Luke Arcani?
I did take UConn. I've bet on UConn all tournament. I think I've taken their spread every single game.
Very profitable.
And I've won every time, which is nice. I mean, listen, I'm not some college basketball expert. I just watch UConn, and I don't think there's a team that can beat them in the entire sport. Dude, I think the best chance is the team that they're going up against tonight. Just because that matchup down low, but I don't know. I don't think tonight's the night for me to change my strategy here. I just think
both teams, though, 5-0 against the spread. First time ever going into a national championship game. Both teams are perfect against the spread in the tournament.
Yeah, and it was kind of a weird tournament like that where the favorites and the top teams just ended up being much better than everybody else in the field. And so teams like Purdue and UConn just sort of made it look easy heading into this. I mean, these are clearly the 2 best teams. Again, it's something that I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong in this, but it just feels like UConn. It just is a different story. Like, we're comparing two different teams here. Like, if I can compare Purdue to the rest of the field, yeah, Purdue's better. But like, I feel like I'm comparing them on a different scale to when UConn comes up. It's like, okay, well, Alabama's offense is good, but how good are they going to be against UConn? You know, Illinois was a good offense. How good are they going to be against UConn, though? It's almost like the women's team back in the day. And like, when you would go up against them, yeah, you could be a good team in other areas, or in maybe your own conference, or other teams around you in the rankings. But every time you faced Gino Auriemma's UConn team back in the day, they were still going to beat you by 30, no matter who you were. And I'm not saying UConn is that dominant, but it does feel like we're grading them sort of on a different scale than everybody else at this point.
And it's a cliche, and I've heard Hurley say it, but you can really see watching these guys play. They don't care who scores the ball, who gets the credit. Like, just overall well-rounded team, and the way that they play and play in the system and play together. That's really what kind of sticks out the most about them.
It's really the system that makes them. I mean, the talent's great, but they've had to move around a lot of talent. And look, they did great in the transfer portal. They got Cam Spencer, which is a really good pickup for them. Tristan Newton was a transfer as well. So they've done well in the portal and all these things, but they did have to switch and change over a lot from last year into this year. And really, to me, it's I think it's proven now it's the system more than anything that works. Whatever this offensive system that was brought in by Danny Hurley's assistant just seems to be that good. And teams just have a tough time stopping it. And that's the thing for me. I mean, have the guards for Purdue proven enough to you throughout the tournament that they can, in this kind of matchup, end up doing well enough to win?
I think so, because the big thing with them going from last year, where obviously losing as a 1 seed to a 16, the big thing with that was inexperienced guards. They all came back this year, and they added Lance Jones in the portal, so they've been immensely better this year. And even when Zach Edey hasn't had a great game, the guards have still been there to pick up the slack. I do think that they are at a disadvantage tonight athletically. And if the UConn guards are able to kind of get into Purdue and disrupt the flow of that offense, it could be a long night for them. But if Purdue, like they've been able to do against 9 out of 10 teams for a majority of the season, get into the half court and run their sets and get the ball to Edey on the block, we know 75, 80% of the time that's either a made basket or a foul.
All right, so let's go over these pick and win questions for today, which, by the way, QR code is going to be going around. Sign up for and KUTT, KUTT.com. But use the QR code, and you could just be answering some questions about the game. And the leaderboard's going to be showing on the screen here. And, of course, you can win some prizes. We have a cooler here that you can win. We have pint glasses that you can win. A $50 Nick's Roast Beef gift card you can win as well. And this is all thanks to our friends at KUTT, KUTT.com. So let's go over a few of these. And let's start with the Zach Edey one. Will Zach Edey have more than 12 points at the half? I actually said no to this. I think he's going to struggle early. I think this will be a UConn. UConn's going to have to, I think they will dominate early, and adjustments are going to be made by Painter at the half. But I just feel like UConn's going to be a little overwhelming to start in this one.
I went with yes on that one. I just think national championship, don't beat around the bush. Do what got you here.
Yeah,
and
give it to your best player.
They're going to get into him early and often and try and get Klingon off the court and get him in foul trouble. I think that's what they have to do.
I would go more there so much.
Going more there?
Yeah, I would. I think.
So are we going with more than 25 points in the game then?
Yeah. If Purdue wants to win, then he has to score more than 25 points.
I think Edey. I said yes to
that's a scary
25.
face.
They're gonna have to.
Dude, he's a scary dude.
Yeah.
He's a scary dude.
They're going to have to feed Edey. Again, I think he could struggle early on, but eventually, I mean, he's going to get his points. Like Caitlin Clark last night or yesterday against South Carolina, she put up 28 shots. She's going to get 30 points. You live and die with your best player. Purdue today is going to live and die with their best player. By the way, that game is about to tip off. One more question real quick. Will Tristan Newton have more than 5 assists in the game? I said yes to that. I think UConn's offense, it's going to run through him, and I think their offense is going to be humming kind of early on here.
Yeah, I said yes as well. He's the straw that stirs a drink there. So he makes
He's been great. Is he one of the more underrated players in college basketball? I would say.
First team All-American.
Yeah, he is. First team All-American. And also a transfer from the great East Carolina University. All right, so we have tipped off. By the way, we are live at Nick's Roast Beef, Fox Sports The Gambler. If you hear my voice is a little bit tired, I was at WrestleMania all weekend. Any of you two wrestling guys?
No. Before this weekend, no. After this weekend, I am like fully hooked.
How could you not? That was some of the best, most entertaining television I've ever seen.
I watched Saturday night with a few of my buddies, and then they were there last night, and it was I was watching from home. It was
just having a normal Sunday while everybody else in the city of Philadelphia watching.
Yeah, I will say leading up to it, I was kind of fascinated. Leading up to the game tonight, I was kind of fascinated by what was going on, but I also had no clue. So I guess that's
You're
why I
probably
kind of
just cool. The Rock is there. I
Yeah,
Hey
guess.
I
guys,
was like,
we're
oh.
about to have the first basket score, so I'm gonna have Guardy on the mic right here.
Beautiful.
rebound.
So right now, no points. Looked like, again, a good matchup with Edie. Edie didn't get that first bucket in. Maybe that is going to be tough. Wow. Okay. Purdue's look
Purdue 2-pointer, first basket.
2-pointer, first basket.
They were the race to 10 bets. That has been my favorite bet of
There
this,
also
of this
is
tournament.
a race to 20 bet. Will Purdue be the first team to score 20 points? I
know
said no to
Purdue,
that.
I saw Purdue race to 10. I believe I saw it like plus 140 or something like that.
Ooh, that is not
That's
good
not
for
great
Purdue.
for it.
If UConn's going to be hitting their 3-point shot, and that's the thing too with UConn, their offense can move well and score points without the 3-point shot. But if that's going down, that just feels always like an added bonus for them. And that's when you see them get into the 80s and 90s against team when that shot goes down, because they're always in base level. Their offense generates enough easy buckets that they're going to at least score 70, I think, in this game. But if the 3-point shot goes down, Purdue, I think, is going to have a very tough time keeping up with that. And what a take!
That's one on Newton too.
That is an and one, and already, as you just said, an early foul on Newton. Is that what we're going to be watching for as well? Just foul trouble with UConn, especially with guys like Klingon?
I do think with UConn, I think their bench, I trust them a little bit more depth wise than Purdue. Especially if a guy like Edie were to get in trouble early. Because we didn't even talk about that as well. What if Klingon's able to go and attack Edie and get a couple quick fouls on him as well?
Yeah. Has that happened in the tournament yet? Edie getting a couple fouls?
No.
I feel like we haven't seen him in foul trouble all that much.
He's done a lot better.
Has he
that's
gotten in
another
foul
thing
trouble
with
in all this
experience.
season?
Yeah, that's another thing with the experience. You know, he's found ways to be able to stay on the floor. For a big guy at his size, he plays 38, 39 minutes a game, at least in the tournament, it feels like.
Yeah, he's been playing a lot. I mean, best player. He's going to get the puck. Oh, and there's another foul. Man, a little bit of a late whistle here. Loose whistle early on. That a good or a bad thing, I imagine, for Purdue. I feel like this is a good thing. If the whistle's going to be called like
this. Let the kids play.
Yeah, let the kids
Let
play.
them play.
But also, if UConn, again,
as I call a 7'4", 300-pound man a kid.
I do like UConn's depth, so that's always a great thing. But it's just the foul trouble I still think could be a problem. If Edie's going to be getting to the foul line as much as he does and as much as he did throughout the regular season, heck yeah, I think Purdue's going to have a shot in this game. But yeah, a little bit of a light whistle early on, looks like.
I don't think anybody cares, but I think Sir Anthony Dominguez just let up an absolute nuke. Can't really tell what inning
baseball's
it is.
on?
I think it's the 7th.
Okay.
I don't know. Sorry. Back to our regularly scheduled programming here.
I was Danny Hurley yelling already?
5-5.
Why does Danny Hurley already look upset?
Isn't he always upset?
Is Danny Hurley the most interesting? Oh, John Cena. Is that John Cena?
Yeah.
Oh, hello, John Cena.
He's back.
Dan Hurley, future coach of the Kentucky Wildcats.
Who's he out there with?
Oh, that is right. Who
that?
will be? What is that your prediction, Danny Hurley? What is your prediction for the Kentucky Wildcats?
I think Nate Oates, 10 minutes before tip-off, came out and said that he's staying at Alabama. So I think he was
They definitely offered him some more money.
Yeah, he was the name kind of floated around the most, I think.
Jay Wright gave a firm no.
Jay Wright.
If I had to make a guess, I think it's going to be either Scott Drew or Chris Beard. I'd probably put my money on either one of those two getting the job.
And how do you think they'll do it, Kentucky? I feel like that's going to be a tough job. Cal made that look so because Cal makes everything look easy. Kentucky's good, but
insane shot. Like, how did that go in?
By the way, points are being had in this game.
Good.
7-7 to start so far. No. About 3 minutes in. So both offenses look really good, and UConn's getting easy shots. So that's the one thing that's kind of noticeable to me. And then Purdue kind of creates their own easy shots in the post the way that they have been. But
the one thing I noticed so far, they're not letting Edie get all the way deep in the paint. He's been kind of pushed out a little bit. If you look at that shot, that's a deep.
That's a deep hook shot. Yeah, that really is.
So I think that's the main thing. Get Edie off his spot. The further away from the basket, obviously, the better. But I mean, look at that tournament run: 28 and 15 on 65%
shooting.
John Cena just absolutely slammed somebody into the thing. I believe they won. Yeah, they won.
R-Truth's childhood hero, John Cena.
That was unreal.
But yeah, look at UConn again getting an easy basket. Man, that offense is so good. They move the ball
easy
so well.
in the paint right now.
They're just beating them off the dribble every time.
Yeah, right. Doesn't it look like they're more athletic so far than Purdue?
Yeah,
And
I
that's
think
always
that's a
Purdue's
main-
biggest problem is that athleticism sometimes is an issue. And it looks like it right now. They really are just getting beat off the dribble.
But
Wow.
there goes Edie. There he gets his position there.
I will say this: we should probably give a little update on our leaderboard here. We do have some
Oh, what
names
is the
up
update?
there.
What is the update?
I don't have the best vision, so I can't read all of those names. I'm not gonna lie.
We got Mike over there.
Maybe if Bernard wants to hop on that mic
Yeah,
over
who
there
wants to
and-
read the
and-
names?
and
Somebody gonna
let
read
us
the
know
names for us?
Yeah, let's hear him here. Here we go.
Okay, we got Brooke Constantine in first place
Okay.
right now.
Nice.
Love
Ryan Coyle in second.
Pete.
Kyle Constantine in third.
Okay,
Myself, Cardi Hurd in fourth.
love it.
Roy Burton in fifth, and Sean Bernard in
Sean
sixth.
Bernard in last.
Ah,
Come
there you go,
on.
Bernard.
Cam
Well
Spencer
done.
having a game so far.
Bringing up the rear for the gambler. Thank you, Bernard. Making me proud. So Zachy,
Another
man,
s-
they are
Every
forcing
train needs a
those-
caboose, Bernard. You know what I mean?
There we go, better possession there. And Edie's already kind of calling for the whistle.
Oh, you gotta. I mean,
You got to make that. What was
Come on.
that?
It's a national
Hit the
championship.
three. Buckets.
Shoot it.
Buckets.
Shoot the ball. It's a
Oh,
travel.
did he walk? Yeah.
Travel. Shoot the ball. You're wide open. If anyone cares, UConn raced to 10. Not
Oh,
by much.
And
Well,
over
the first-
betters are feeling good right
first
now.
commercial
Oh, yeah,
break.
for sure. For sure.
I know that was the question. First commercial break. Who's going to be leading? I think, or will UConn be leading? I think it was one of them.
They got some great bets.
Will UConn be winning at the first commercial break of the second half? So that's the second half. I think the first half might have been
Purdue.
So Purdue on the no after the first commercial break.
Hey, John, real quick. If I just joined the stream and I didn't know what you were talking about right now, what promo code should I use? What app
What you
am I
can be using is
downloading?
the KUTT Sports Betting App, KUTT.com. Oh, look at that. Do you have a T-shirt on? By the
I
way,
do
show off the
actually.
T-shirt.
Oh, wait. Maybe
Show off
I
the
do know
beautiful-
what app we're talking
Show off the beautiful logo.
Yeah,
It's spelled very correctly. KUTT, KUTT.com. The social sports betting app. Yeah. Put your money where your mouth is. It's great. And that's a great thing of it as well. There is chat groups you can join. You can join the Gamblers chat group once you download the app. But use the referral code GAMBLER when you sign up. KUTT, KUTT.com. And I decided to stay away from this one.
I saw a great tweet earlier from the KUTT social team regarding Morgan Wall, and it said,
Dude.
"Will he
did you
serve
see
jail
that?
time for
Did
tossing
you
the
see
chair?"
that?
Oh, that is
Bet yes or no on KUTT.
Tossed the chair off a 6-story building
that's
in Nashville.
probably a no.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
if
think
it
it's a
hit
hefty
somebody-
fine.
If it hit somebody, yeah.
That could have been murder.
But I know it was close to hitting, I think, like
I think-
cops.
I think based off because what his name is, it's probably no. But
Yeah.
if it was any other person,
Well, he comes to
I don't
Philly in a
do it.
month, and I know people are worried that the concert might get canceled
That's
twice
that.
in a row.
Yeah, that's that
Wow.
rescheduled,
Yep.
How
rescheduled one
unfortunate.
from last
A
year.
concert that nobody wants to go. I feel like people do, but not me. I don't. I mean, come on. Morgan Wallen, really? That's
I
what
saw
country
him once.
music is
I don't
offering
need
us
to-
right now?
I don't need to. I don't need to see him again.
I think country music's got better than Morgan Wallen. They can
Does.
do better than that. All right, so
Does.
the first commercial break, we are UConn up 11-9. What do you think about the start early on, Beef? Offense, I'm kind of surprised the offense has been, for both sides, because even Edie's been able to get some easy buckets. But I'm surprised offensively both teams have been really sharp.
Yeah, I think I'm a little surprised at how easily they are able to get the ball into Edie. I thought there would be a little bit more of a kind of denial. It seems like Klingen's playing behind. So I think they're just telling him to kind of wall up back there. But then when you look on the other side of the ball for UConn on the offensive side, just seems like one screen they come off and then they're able to beat their next guy off the dribble. So both teams definitely have a few adjustments they're going to have to make here in their early goings. But I like the pace so far. It's shaping
Yeah, I
up to
love
be
the
a fun game.
pace. I mean, it looks like the pace of two teams that are really good and
Mhm.
really efficient. And, we've been saying it. These are the two best teams coming into the tournament. We just didn't know if Purdue was going to be able to prove that because they haven't been able to in previous years. But, I mean, on this run, they've been one of the best teams. They've been right up there with UConn. So it does look like that so far early on. It looks like the two best teams in college basketball. And we're getting that. Look at that. 7-2, 7-4. I love this. Basketball now always seems like it's about let's get the guards there. It's about perimeter play. And
about-
this game, let's
about
go
beef.
down low.
It's about
It's about
beef.
beef. This game's
Beef
about
in the
beef.
paint.
Tall dudes doing tall dude things down low in the paint.
And I think
And we're
it's
getting
pretty,
that so far.
pretty crazy how, I mean, arguably two of the best college players with Edie and Klingen and our big men. And then you look at the NBA, Jokic and
Well,
Embiid.
I do like that you are getting
The big man's coming back.
It's great to see Zach Edey in the tournament.
That was an awesome game.
Wow.
Yeah.
He barely even
On his
jumped.
head.
Yeah.
On his
And
head.
that's over 7-2.
On his head.
Now, if Edie has a good showing today, is that maybe our scouts going to kind of look at that and go, you know
Yeah,
what?
so what's that deal? Like, if he goes out and drops like 35 or like 15 rebounds and like wins a national championship,
Always what
like,
the problem is going to be, though, that the NBA is all about spacing now, and Zach Edey can't do that. So teams don't want – you're going to have to change almost how you play if Edey's on the floor.
I think it's
Zach
almost more so how he does on the defensive end
for
tonight,
sure.
kind of guarding these dudes off ball screens.
Yeah.
Because these are probably the most athletic guards that he's seen for most of the season. It's out of the Big Ten. You're not really getting screaming athleticism.
No, not in the Big Ten.
is he a round one
Big
guy?
Ten was a hallmark for athleticism.
Is he a round one guy, Zach Edey?
I think he's going to be. It's just such a watered down class this year. And it's a perfect opportunity for him to go to the draft.
That's got to be a foul.
That's definitely a foul.
That's has to be a foul.
I mean, I know this game is close, and look, Edey's good enough that he can do stuff like that, even against Cleveland. Jeez.
That could have been a foul.
So, yeah, I actually think it should have been a foul. He's not getting a whistle all that much right now, so it's kind of surprising. But for as good as Edey has looked, I do feel like watching so far, and it's only a 3-point game, but I do feel like UConn is the better team, more athletic, better pace, more efficient, getting better shots, I think. Really, it's just Edey dominating enough for them to be able to put up points. But yeah, I don't know. UConn certainly, it looks like they're the better team. This is going to be a really uphill battle for Purdue.
Oh,
wow.
Get that out of here.
Edey does look like he's on a mission, though. Like,
Yeah,
he
Edey
is
looks
locked
fantastic
in.
right now.
Dude's locked in.
There it goes again.
Wow. Look all fired up.
He's fired up.
Look at this.
He
Zach Edey. Look at this.
This
the
has
dude's balling right now.
this has like classic
Oh.
game written all over it.
I thought I didn't know I had tickets to see Godzilla and Kong tonight. I mean, that's essentially what we're getting right
Come
now.
on, Bryce. Sorry.
Which one's Godzilla and which one's Kong?
Well, Kling
I feel like
Kong.
Edey's Godzilla.
They call him Kling Kong.
Kling Kong. No, there you go. Then Klingon's King Kong. But yeah, it feels like we're getting that matchup. Yeah, Edey is having a fantastic game. What's his box score looking like already? What, 6 points,
6
a few
points?
blocks?
Yeah, you got to
Here
imagine
comes
there's
another
a few
post
boards,
touch.
2 blocks.
Still no trips to the free throw line yet.
Is that 2 more?
Man.
Is that 2 more for him?
I will say I am a little bit worried about, not necessarily right now, but as the game goes on, the way UConn's guards have been picking up full court and really disrupting kind of Purdue's ball handlers.
Well, that's I think one of the biggest problems too is UConn just wears teams down because their offense is moving so much.
Mhm.
You have to do so much just to defend UConn. But then on the other end, your legs have to be ready enough and fresh enough to score as well. I'm always afraid, and this has happened all throughout the tournament and throughout the season, that as this game goes along, like, is Edey going to be fresh enough at the end of this game? And you know, it's a championship game. I know the adrenaline's going to be going.
Dude, he's giving him the work in the paint right
yeah,
now.
but Klingon is
It's
being
crazy
physical.
that
Yeah,
he's
they are
being
going.
able to get these touches.
That's a foul.
That's a
That's a
and
foul.
one,
That's a
too.
foul.
working him in the paint right now.
Edey looks fantastic.
Under 12 coming up, you have to think UConn kind of switches up the defensive game. They got to send it. They're not sending another
almost
body
like
at all.
they-
Just leave him on an island.
11 points, 1 rebound, and 2 blocks in
It's-
8 minutes.
It's two things that I'm kind of curious about why they're defending him. I mean, Klingon's off, and they're going to probably do it so we can get some
That's a
rest
second.
before
That's
the
a second
12.
foul.
And that's a second foul
I believe,
too.
right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a second foul. So I think what UConn is doing right now is almost ling him. You were just saying, get that space, get him a little bit far away from the basket. The problem is, though, Edey's it's also giving Edey enough room to work against Klingon, and he is absolutely dominating that matchup.
Well, I don't
And
think.
it's his footwork that's really looking really good right now. I think his footwork looks fantastic.
I think coming into the game, you could say the one player built to maybe defend Zach Edey is Klingon. But this is, you have to think, the first time in 2 years that he's seeing one-on-one coverage. Like,
Wow,
not
what a
throwing another
pass.
body at him, and he's not used to that at all. So he's having all this kind of room to operate and work. He just has to go out there and be the better player.
This is awesome basketball.
Great
right
basketball
now.
game.
Oh my goodness, that was a really great pass. I don't know who had the pass. It might have been Newton. But really good pass inside. UConn gets an easy bucket. I mean, we're going back and forth. Points are easy.
Yeah.
There goes the double team. That's the first. Is that the first double team
First
we've
double
seen?
team. They have
They are
Johnson and
moving.
Johnson
They are
playing.
moving the ball too.
And now it's going to be after this, man. And if
Right
they're
up
going to
close.
rebound too.
Yeah, if you're UConn, you can't be allowing offensive boards right now.
But yeah, now second chance points for sure. And UConn's a solid rebounding team.
Yeah.
This is my thing about UConn though. Like, it feels like Edey is like playing the game of his life right now,
He's
and
fantastic.
and UConn's still winning.
Yeah.
Like they're still winning. Like,
And they're about to get lit up in that timeout by Hurley. Like,
oh,
just getting outworked
yeah.
there on that possession. And I feel like this is when
because I mean
UConn
they
usually
haven't
bounces back at
looked
their best.
that good.
Mhm.
That's just they're not good is better than everyone else is
Yep.
great. Like that's
Again, it's that efficiency on offense that they're able to find easy points over and over and over again. There's not many times they're coming away empty-handed on possessions. Like it's so tough, and that's towards the end. What I'm curious is going to happen because Purdue's just going to force feed it into Edey, but Edey's not going to hit every single shot in this game. You know, how many empty possessions is he going to have if he goes cold? And will they be able to withstand him going cold? Because I'm sure on the other end of that, UConn's just going to go nuts and go bananas then.
you're gonna need another.
Yeah, so give us the box score so far.
So right now
leading
for
scores
Purdue,
both teams.
Edey has 11. The next highest scorer.
What is the rest of his box score?
Has
by the way,
3.
Zach?
Edey is 11 points, 1 rebound, and
couple blocks.
yeah, couple blocks.
Jeez.
Next leading scorer for Purdue only has 3.
It's just all Edey.
Yeah,
It is all Edey right now.
All Edey. That's it.
Oh, we can switch.
Bernard, you want to get in there?
Hey,
Get
let's
in.
get Bernard
Come-
on the mic.
Come talk some hoops. I got some baseball to watch.
And I think the one thing you were saying about UConn's offense with the efficiency, I know Alabama, obviously not a great defense, but they only turned it over 4 times the entire game against Alabama. So I mean, just they're getting a good look at least every time down the floor.
All right, we got the basketball guys now here on the board.
Let's go.
here. All right, so we've been talking on the side here.
Yeah.
This is just like we're gonna get really nerdy really quick here, but this is your dream matchup in a college basketball fun, right? You're going mano y mano. It's like you're making shot, and you have like the 2 best players on these teams. You have Zach Edey, Donovan Clingan, and they're just doing battle. Right?
We're not getting the referee show. They're letting them play. This is how basketball is supposed to be going and how these 2 teams really thought this up.
How many times do we sit here and complain about like the Super Bowl or the NBA Finals and the whistle sucks, right?
Yeah.
And they let the officials take over. I hope I'm not jinxing this. But like this has been just 8 minutes of just clean, pure college basketball at its absolute finest. And it's a really, really good game.
Yeah.
I don't want to use the C word yet, but like you're inching to that level, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm really liking what both these teams are doing too. We're seeing them play to their fullest extent. Edey, I've been especially impressed with. It's very clear he's living up to the moment.
Right.
And we know the pedigree, the 2-time player of the year, all the things that come with being Zach Edey. But he's stepping up on the biggest moment, commanding both sides of the floor. It's been awesome.
Yeah, and look, what they're doing is really cool too, because he's just bruising. And there's been very few times, and this is where like Clingan now with 1 foul ends up being the fascinating part, because you've been going at him the entire game in the first place. Clingan tried to front him on the first possession. It didn't really work so well. They got him on the bench right now. So, I mean, if you're Purdue,
I think you see the double team now with
Right.
Samson Johnson in the game.
and you don't change a damn thing.
But what I was just saying to Jansen, this is probably the first time in 2 years that Zach Edey has seen one-on-one coverage at all.
Yeah, and see, they just picked up a foul because, and look, he's
Trying
not
to front.
he's not as mobile as Clingan. But
No.
we were talking on the side that he just does all the simple things so well. And in college basketball, sometimes it's really all you have to do. You just have to do the little things and do them really well and excel at them. And Clingan's back in the game now, and that ends up being like a matchup nightmare.
Lob.
And Beef, you say the first time he's seen one-on-one coverage. This is the first time he's had an opponent be able to look him in the eye in his college career.
Exactly.
Seeing Klingon be his size and compete with him. And he's doing a very good job. Like, as much as Edey's been dominant, Klingon has defended him as well as he possibly can.
Right.
And this is not a shade on him.
There's no easy shots whatsoever in this game. It's not being played at a super fast pace. You're playing at a really slow pace, but the shot making is incredible. Like if the shots aren't made, this becomes Duke Butler very quickly, right? And there might be a stretch where that happens because the adrenaline push to get to that first media timeout and come out and make a strong impression, you could tell both teams were really motivated to do that. Now you're starting to see the defense. Edey makes the play, And
Well done.
that's what the first.
Wow.
That's really the first attempt Purdue's had in transition.
Yeah. And it's interesting. We're seeing like kind of the duality of this Purdue team that obviously last year being bounced as the 16 seed versus 1, the second time in history, and now competing for a national championship. The difference being is they do have the shooting to space the floor. That last year, their 3-point percentage ranking in the top 200s in the country.
Yeah.
This year, they're number 2. Now you do present that challenge by making a team make a decision, and you're seeing that other guys can beat you as well.
Great pass.
Yeah,
Edie
incredible.
Eden again.
And then I think Clingan just picked up a second.
Is that on him?
Was that him or was that Diarra?
I don't know because he got
They better hope it's
see.
Diarra.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But like I think that's the part of this matchup where I was like waiting to see what was going to happen here. Like, will the guards end up showing up in any capacity? But right now, it's just been like full, just like physical brute force basketball, and it's been really fun to watch.
They're going to need Purdue. They're going to need somebody else to step up and hit
Yes.
some shots. They won last game comfortably, and Braden Smith had probably his worst scoring game of the season. I think it was his lowest scoring output of the season.
And he hasn't had a great scoring output the entire tournament.
Yeah, but he had just had a nice take there on that floater a couple minutes ago. But they need someone desperately to step up because they're going to force it's going to start and end obviously with Edie, but somebody's going to have to step up from the perimeter to be able to hit some shots at some point in this game.
I want to see where the first adjustment happens. I don't think that second was unclear because it's still in the game.
It does not look like it's on.
But like that's the thing where now we're in this game and you see it so many times in championship games. So it's 21-19, just over the halfway mark of the first half, and now you see it this game. Who makes the first adjustment? Like UConn just hit an open three. Saw Braden Smith go in with that floater. Like, where does the adjustment come? Because this game has been played inside. I think this is still the case. Whoever dominates the outside is going to end up doing it, right? So I think this is going to be. I mean, we're locked in at this point. Like, there's no there's no rest for the wicked here. You're going to see a battle,
And by the way,
was that Smith again?
Yeah.
And that's your X factor right there.
And I know you spoke very highly and talked about that you're on Purdue leading up, Joe, that I personally going head to head with Sean Brace on the KUTT app with Purdue. And I feel great about how this game is playing out for how the expectation is for that.
I got to be honest with you. The Purdue thing was just me taking a shot. Look, I've been so horrible at March Madness, and that this is really where like my betting in college basketball plateaus every year. Even though I think I know what I'm talking about. Purdue was just a gut feel. Really, like I really was taking a shot in the dark when I said that Gonzaga Baylor comparison, and I think it rings true. I don't know how much, but
Yikes!
But just
Big
like
fall.
a little bit, where the Gonzaga Baylor year, it was Gonzaga and Baylor and nobody else, right?
Right.
And then Jalen Suggs makes that shot against UCLA, and then Baylor just completely annihilates them, like ran them off the floor that night because they had the easier semifinal. Is this the case here? Like, I'm again really just throwing darts, but UConn had the tougher game. Purdue, look, once O'Connell went out for NC State, it ends up being a completely different game because their offense doesn't run the same. Purdue had the easier game. There's no doubt about that, and the easier matchup. Maybe does that end up playing away? Two guys with 2 fouls, Diarra and Johnson, big in defending Edie, especially with Clingan now with 1.
Yeah,
I mean, this is really. I'm really throwing darts. That comparison means absolutely nothing. But Purdue, to their credit, Lance Jones has 2 for Purdue. That's big as well.
Yeah.
To Purdue's credit, they're executing their game plan perfectly right now. Like everything you could have asked for is there, and can they gain that separation? Because nobody's been able to do that on UConn.
I just find it insane how they're letting him get in this position in the post every single time down the floor.
He's dominating Clingan at this
He's
point.
hitting tough shots too. These are tough. Like that's another like hook shot from like 6 feet out, 8 feet out, and he's still not.
The first one that he hit was super deep. I mean, it was like almost closer to the free throw line. Yeah,
and I think that was maybe there's a little adjustment that Edie made because that first hook shot he made was too far out, probably 2 feet too far out. Everything else he's gotten has been inside. Like, I'm very interested to see like what the adjustment is. Like I was talking about, is it trying to make threes? Which
Purdue's doing a great job right now boxing out and holding him to 1 shot as well.
And that's the key too, because when you have that advantage with Edie over Clingan, you have to have that defensive edge. I mean, this is the most I've seen UConn maybe under threat. Look, UConn's still playing a really good basketball game. They've scored 21 points. They're doing their best to go at Edie. But this is the most even matchup I have seen against UConn all season long. And we've talked about it, right? Will it be Marquette? Will it be Alabama? Will it be Illinois? This is really it.
I think the team that goes on that first run. Ooh, good screen. Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
And they just picked. No, he traveled.
Yeah. But whoever goes on that first run, like just say UConn pushes off a 7-0 run right here. Does Purdue get away from what's been working and start jacking threes? I think they've only taken 1 3 so far. Or UConn, a team that's not used to playing from behind all year. Are they able to kind of overcome that? Because that's the thing with them. They're just so dominant. They haven't really had much experience in these close games. So the closer this game kind of is down the stretch, I think I kind of lean towards Purdue just because of more experience in these close games.
Yeah.
But I have to say something. Purdue's got to make that first run.
Yeah.
If
you don't want UConn to get going, because once they get going, it's going to be
They
hard
can
to get back
bury
in that
you
game.
like no other team.
If UConn makes the first run, it's game over. But we're at what 6:56 mark of the first half at the intermediate timeout. By the way, we're here thanks to KUTT here at Nick's Roast Beef on Woodhaven Road in Philadelphia. We have these QR codes right here. I believe they're down on the stream as well, right here. Doing trivia throughout the night on the KUTT app as well. Joe Tanzi, Ryan Coyle, Sean Bernard, the nerds have taken over the college basketball stream. Everybody else is over there probably talking about
Watching baseball and wrestling.
Yeah.
We got a national championship to be crowned.
It's April. We can care about college basketball for one night. It's okay. It won't hurt anybody's feelings. But I think when you look at this game now, so we're at 23-23, and I'm so fascinated by right because this has. I didn't want to use the C word 5 minutes ago, but like
Feeling like it.
It feels like it's building into that classic, and there's not going to be any separation gained. And so I get that. I guess at this point, 7 minutes to go in the first half. What are we doing? How are we on fouls? Because
all good.
Is either team in the bonus?
Besides Jones with 2.
Because the 2 UConn guys have 2 fouls.
Neither team in the bonus as of now.
Okay, so I think that's the key too. Is if Purdue can get to the line, that ends up being a thing as well. And how many points does Edie have? 14?
And the other thing to note, obviously, Edie is more important to Purdue's offense than Klingon is to UConn. And they have more guys that are dangerous. But we haven't seen Klingon. He's at 2 points, 2 rebounds, 1 block right now. That's a quiet night for him. He's been terrific defensively, but we haven't seen them been able to unlock him as a roller, a lob threat, or anything like that tonight. And obviously, Edie's to credit for that. But they got to find some way to get him involved.
Purdue has to win with Zach Edey.
Yeah.
UConn doesn't have to win with Donovan Klingon.
Sure.
I think that's the
I think they do on the defensive end.
For sure.
I think defensively.
He's definitely more important defensively than on the offense.
But I think if you're UConn tonight and you emerge victorious and you look at this game and say, well, Donovan Klingon maybe put up 10 points.
Do your job defending.
But he did his job defensively and the guards took over and got this game over the line. You're okay with that because then Danny Hurley in the post-game interview is like, well, Klingon did a fantastic job, and he's all amped up and jacked up and stuff like that. By the way, real quick, so we're on this kind of lull in the game. Let's talk about Kentucky for a second because Danny Hurley's name has been mentioned. I want to talk to you guys about this. This is kind of the non-game topic I want to talk about you guys with. So Nate Oates putting out this statement, whatever. I don't,
you're not buying it?
Nothing in college sports is final until it's final. I mean, Cal had that meeting, 2 weeks ago?
True.
And all of a sudden, he's the Arkansas head coach. He's buddy with the chicken guy.
Edie not in the game.
Interesting. Then they go right to Klingon, and he scores.
Finishes and 1.
Yeah, that's not going to last long.
Put Edie right back
to the
in.
booth. That's to the table.
Get back right in. You can't do that. Who takes the Kentucky job? I mean, I have 2 guys, Nate Oates and Scott Drew, and I don't think anybody else is qualified to take it.
I threw Beard's name out there.
I'm still pounding the Mick Cronin table, too. I think he deserves to be in the mix. Maybe not deserves, not the right word, but I think he's a guy that could fit what they're looking for.
It's hard because it's like it's in the sense kind of the same thing with Bama. Like, do you want to leave like your job where you're a hero most likely at whatever school you're leaving to go chase the greener pastures potentially, or you're going to have one of the biggest pressure jobs in all of sports looking at you right in the face. Like Scott Drew could be the head coach at Baylor until he retired if he wanted. But does he want to get, take that step up and try and be the Kentucky coach? I think Chris Beard is a guy that's not afraid of the challenge.
No.
And would definitely be a step up from Ole Miss.
Do we have that in KUTT yet? Kentucky basketball head coach?
I know they did have the
They have a
did
Morgan
the
Wallen
will
bet.
John Calipari be Kentucky's coach as of May 1st.
Okay.
It was plus 500 for no as of yesterday.
Wow.
Before this broke, which I was not touching that. I did not think this was going to come to actuality, but
Right.
could have been some good value there on the KUTT app.
I mean, that's fascinating, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like Alabama football. I think this is going to go super fast. Like the movement on this
It
search,
has to.
it's going to happen because of NIL, because of everything in
Precious time.
Right, exactly.
Because of your 6 McDonald's or 6
Well, they're all gone.
top 50 recruits,
They're
you
all,
think?
They're all going to
It
Arkansas.
was number 2 recruiting class, right?
They're all going to Arkansas.
Yeah.
They were there because of Cal.
I
That's
gotta think.
That's unfair, by the way.
I gotta think one or two.
That might be goaltending. I think Danny Hurley's got a point. That might be goaltending.
And
7'6" giant just bats the ball while it's on its way down. That might be breaking the rules of basketball.
But to your point about leaving where you're already a legend, Beef, is like if you're Danny Hurley, you at the minimum have gone to back-to-back national championships, possibly back-to-back titles. Like, why would you walk away from that for a job that you're essentially starting from scratch?
But if the Hurley case for Kentucky, I think it's stronger if you win today.
Yeah.
Because you have 2 titles. What else are you going to accomplish? You can be the king of the Big East,
right?
King of the Northeast. Like Danny Hurley is Northeast tried and true, right?
Yeah.
That's why I don't think he takes it regardless. But it's fascinating to be like, well, can this guy from the Northeast, can he end up acclimatizing himself to the culture of Kentucky? And is that a challenge he wants to take on? I don't know. But if he loses tonight, there's no way. I don't think there's any way he leaves for Kentucky because then he's got unfinished business and gives a really nice hurrah, like I'm staying press conference.
And I don't know why, I associate in my head, but when I think about Hurley, I think that he played at UConn. Like he's not even an alum of the school.
No.
So he doesn't really have any previous attachment to there. I mean, obviously, other than being a national champion head coach. So I definitely could see him leaving. It's not like he is a UConn alum and he's UConn through and through.
Right. And I think that's the one name, because he played at Kentucky, that was thrown out was Mark Pope, which I don't think.
What about Kenny Payne?
That's like your 6th option if somebody says no. Like I think the phone calls simultaneously go out to Nate Oates, Scott Drew. Scott Drew has done everything he could ever have imagined at Baylor. He's won a national title. He's built a new arena. He's reformed that entire culture of that program at Baylor. There's nothing else that he can do there other than maybe win another natty. But he's playing now with the realignment. He's playing in the toughest conference in all of college basketball. Now, Nate Oates, you've built something, but Alabama basketball also has its ceiling. Like it's still
a football school.
It's still a football school.
Always will
and
be.
Now look, if Kalen DeBoer fails,
well, let's see what Kalen DeBoer's got cooking.
If that ends up failing, then maybe it does become basketball for a little bit.
Sure.
But, after that though, a bunch of these guys have flaws or have, I don't know, I guess character issues if you want to throw Chris Beard in the mix in that. But what has Mick Cronin done to really say, oh, I deserve the Kentucky?
Sure.
It's a good name because he's already led a prestigious program to a Final Four. But there's also been way too much variance at UCLA. And if you're Kentucky basketball,
you want stability.
You don't know what variance is.
Guys, here comes the run.
Yeah.
9-2 right now.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, it is.
Potentially for the 12-2.
Now that would have been really disastrous for Purdue.
And by the way, we do have an update on our trivia score here. Currently, Gardy Herr leading the pack with number 1. Our own Roy Burton up at number 2. Brooke Constantine at number 3. Beef, you're up tied with him at number 3. Kyle Constantine at number 4. All the way down, and our very own Sean Brace has replaced me as the caboose in this one.
What's next up in the trivia?
I believe there's a who's leading at halftime is the next question to be answered.
Which is tight.
There was one that was Zach Edey. Will he have more than 12 points in the first half?
And he's already cleared.
That was 6 minutes ago.
So to kind of put this,
I think Marsh just homered.
To put the bow on the Kentucky conversation, we'll get Jansen back in here because I want his take on this too. Who is number 3, right? Because if Oates says no, if Drew says no, who's number 3?
I was saying to someone earlier, I think it was Bernard, where I don't like the Billy Donovan name out there at all. He's been removed from the college game for 10 years.
Can't do that.
He didn't win anything with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook in their prime, and the Bulls have been a 7 seed for majority of his time there. Like, I think that's just an old kind of outdated name.
But he won back-to-back titles in Florida. That's what everybody would hold their hat on.
20 years
Right.
ago. Yeah.
But still, he's done it 2 more times than a lot of these guys in the pool.
But he
Like,
just has
that's
no
what- that's-
experience in college with the recent kind of seismic
I agree with you.
changes
I absolutely agree with
that
you.
I just think it's like,
Well, the other, I
the
guess,
time is
side
passing
point
now.
that I saw a little speculation on, what if they take a big swing on one of these top assistants? That's a super high leverage opportunity, but if you think you have your guy to build forever, is that worth the swing? I saw a couple of UConn assistants getting speculation.
No.
yeah, I think Kentucky's one of those jobs where you have to get a head coach in
Fair.
there.
It's literally just like the Alabama football opening that happened. It's going to happen fast. It's going to be somebody that can't turn this job down. And who is it? Because it's so tough to.
I think there's going to be more guys that come out and like turn it down and say no than than
absolutely.
jump at the job. I
Well,
think.
because they're going to end up getting more money if they turn it down.
Yeah,
like
that's
that,
true as
like
well.
that's how coaching searches work. Like
Right.
Nate Oates
Leverage.
probably said no because he just got more leverage in a couple years on his contract.
Yeah.
Hurley, I mean, he's got all the leverage in the world. Like
Oh, yeah.
college athletics is very simple but complicated at the same time when it comes to it.
Mhm.
Jance, you want to come over and tie a knot on this first half? Yes, that means yes. That means no.
Chance is worn out. Fair.
Wait
Need
till
some
halftime.
terrific roast beef.
I need
from
food.
Roast beef.
I don't know the chicken sandwich over there that I'm
Nice.
seeing right
Yeah?
now. That looks incredible.
I did have
I think
a
I'm
nice
getting the
roast
chicken
beef.
sandwich. The roast beef was great.
Delicious.
That's very good. How are we thinking about the first half?
It's been amazing.
I think that if that UConn made that 3, like we were just saying, that would have
could've
been
got ugly.
danger zone time for Purdue.
What
This is a big last 4 minutes.
I
of the
think
half.
that really it's the second half for me that becomes if UConn can end up in the second half, that's when they wear teams out. That's when they end up getting that lead, and it gets really tough. So to me, I don't know that second half is going to be crucial. The start of that second half.
I absolutely agree, but Purdue's got to survive this Final Four.
Purdue,
They
they
have to
have
stay
to
within 5.
1 3-pointer for Purdue this half.
Does it kind of concern you that it's all Edie right now?
Yes,
like
100%.
like Purdue couldn't have wanted to execute their offensive game plan any better, and they trail by 5.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's good that he's playing well and he's playing efficient, but
Very.
Edie's going to have to continue to play that efficient to keep up with one of the most efficient offenses in all of college basketball. Like, that's so tough to do.
I think Lance Jones having 2 fouls is massive for
He's
Purdue.
back in now.
Is he?
I love
But
Lance Jones.
You have to put him in. You got to find a way to
Yeah.
make shots, and that's I think the big thing here. Braden Smith got to make a few shots outside of the painted area, and
This is one of my personal pet peeves with coaches too, is when you punish yourself for foul issues. Like, yes, it's a big deal if he picks up his third, but you're already doing what the issue is. If you take him out too early, like, you have to have some sort of trust to play through this, especially at this stage. And I see coaches make that what I feel is a mistake all the time.
See, that was a perfect play. Purdue with 1 field goal in approaching 5 minutes. Braden Smith turns around,
Big
ends up
shot.
making a mid range. That's just like it's not an effective shot, but it's such a crucial shot for the game itself because it steadies the pace a little bit, and
Yep.
you need stops here. I think 5 is the maximum. What was the first half spread? 3.5.
I believe so.
Yeah, it'd probably be 3.5, 4.
Three
What
and a
did
half.
it close at 7?
7.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would assume.
So either 3.5, 4. But that's the thing with UConn is, and I know we're talking from a gambling perspective, but if you're Purdue, if you cover the first half spread here, that's absolutely blatant contact there.
And that is a huge
Jeez.
offensive call though, because that's
Yeah,
3
that
on
would-
Jones if not.
Right,
Right.
exactly. But I mean, look at this: 12 of 24 from 2. That's 50%. That's not going to win you a game, and you're 0 of 1 from 3. So I actually kind of want to see these final few minutes. What UConn's like, because they're stacking there.
comes Smith.
Yeah,
Here's
they're running off with Smith, but they're getting off the pick and roll so fast. Like that's the thing with UConn is the
Big
There we
shot.
go. That was
Big
huge.
shot.
That was massive.
It's a big shot. And we got a 2-point game here. 2 minutes to go.
If this game ends up getting to halftime, right?
Mm-hmm.
At this point,
That was a huge answer.
Braden Smith, boom, 5 points on back-to-back possessions. I mean,
It's a momentum shift. Big
that's a game changer. Like little things like that sometimes just don't matter in games like this. I mean, that could be a defining stretch of the game
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
Purdue. And like I'm not even exaggerating at this point. Like that is
That Caravan missed 3.
yeah.
And
That was a wide open look too. It was a little deep, but there wasn't anyone in a zip code.
we just saw Purdue take a pretty significant punch from UConn and get right back on their feet here.
Yep.
That's
Which-
a big moment for them.
Massive. So I think that's there's your stretch right there. That just proves that Purdue can hang.
Yeah.
Because you're right, UConn, they threw that first punch. They threw that first punch. They finally got a little bit of separation. 1 field goal in 5 minutes, and then Braden Smith. I mean, you talk about a player coming up with 2 big field goals there, man. Like that's championship basketball.
Yeah,
That's
and-
why this game's so awesome.
That's why I'm a little worried about Purdue if they do get into these late kind of shot clock moments. Is Braden Smith going to be able to hit shots consistently like
Has to,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, because they're going to need that eventually. Because I think at halftime we're going to see a different defensive kind of adjustment
Right.
from Hurley and UConn on the way they're guarding
I think
Edie.
you're going to see adjustments either way, and I think whoever makes that, like, I think you're even starting to see it with the way they're going into Edie and then kind of building on the way out. Like, I think that's the start of this, where somebody was going to have to make the adjustment. And Purdue, by the way, that the Buffalo Wild Wings Buffalo, hilarious, gets me every time. My favorite, like, I know these commercials get really old. I could watch him in commercials. I'm like a child.
I never want to see Chet Holmgren and SGA
Yes,
again.
I want to see the Thunder eliminated in the first round of the playoffs, just so I don't have to.
They might. They very well might. They get the Lakers. I'm taking LA in that one. And by the way, the Buffalo Wild Wings commercial I miss is do you remember the overtime ones? Those were the classics where it was
Yes.
the click the button. They got to bring those back. Those were terrific.
What do we have here on the tribute? We still have halftime waiting on that.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing on this one?
I'm sitting right in front of Brace and for last place there. Beef, you're tied for third right now, so you're in the mix for sure.
Need that.
Yeah, and it's looking like Gordy Herr and Brooke Constantine
Luke.
look like our top 2
Well, what's
contenders.
Mr. Baseball here? What's your take on this game so far? Use the mic. Been doing this long enough.
As Johan Rojas 3 hits tonight, I believe.
Johan Ross has 3 hits. So that's really good for my brand tonight.
Love him.
But I said it earlier. I said, now this has like instant classic written all over it
Yes.
right now. I think like there's going to be some big time shot in the last second of this game.
25 points between each.
I said it earlier to John. I don't see this game, this margin being over 5 points at all the whole night. I think it's going to be close the rest of the night.
It was this close to happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's just
Yeah.
all night. It's been back and forth.
I think UConn's got to make a shot here.
It's the game we deserved.
And once again,
Rebound.
shout out to the +7 I got on Purdue on the KUTT app with Sean Brace. So feeling good about how the game script is going.
Wait,
right
did
now.
Sean take Purdue?
I have Purdue. He has UConn -7. I'm
Okay,
on
thank
Purdue
God.
+7.
All right,
Yes.
because Brace is
his championship game.
Yeah, Brace does not have a good championship game history.
That's very true.
I will still hold TCU over his head for many years to come. He was so confident on that. I told him
He was all over the Huskies this year too.
that should have been a foul.
Yeah, I would have called that one.
Yeah.
Huge. That would have been a pretty significant foul too.
They call one down low on Gillis though.
No, that was a draw.
Oh, they call possession. Okay.
Yeah.
They are letting them play, which I like. I appreciate. I think that one was absolutely a foul.
Still, this is still a very dangerous last minute third.
Oh,
Like, it's a
absolutely.
4-point game right now. If Purdue doesn't get a good
big
look
swing.
here, or they don't convert, UConn could still go into this half up 10.
Yeah, I mean that's the scary part
Yeah.
about these teams, right? It's just like at any point they can strike. By the way, 34-30 with 1:33 to go, which means we are perilously on the over/under line. By the way, I got it at 143.5. I think that's where it closed. So if you do the simple math in your head, if they're getting close to 70, that's very, very tight.
I think one of our trivia plays was total points for the first half. I think it was 68.
Yeah.
It was 68, and also UConn by more than 4 at the half.
Okay,
so we
okay.
are close
Right
to that
there.
as well.
So a lot to
yeah,
watch
very
here.
close.
And I do think
Gonna
in
sweat
college,
these out.
college
What-
basketball, I think the final minute and a half, 2 minutes are a bigger swing than any other sport. That's
Absolutely.
a tone setter heading into halftime.
Completely agree with that. And I mean, look, what do they call it in football? The middle eight.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what you're looking at here. I mean, you have, I'd say in this case, probably the middle four, because any team, you know who Jim Cady is, by the way, Beef. I know we have to do history lessons with you.
I mean, Purdue legendary head coach.
He had a great hairpiece toward the end of
Oh,
his
he's got
career.
the P on the back.
Oh,
of his
look at
head.
that.
That's pretty cool.
That's beautiful.
That's
It
commitment.
was cool. I saw them give him a piece of the net when they cut it down for the Final
Mason
Four.
Gillis? Oh, wow. Is that Klingon? No.
Caravan.
I thought he switched out then.
So
Really, he's got to have a play for a 3 dialed up here.
So if regardless of what happens on this, so we're gonna say there's what 3, maybe 4 possessions left in this first half. If you're Purdue, do you go? I mean, do you
Get on the floor.
There you go.
TD.
Well, it's UConn possession. So now they're gonna have
2 possessions.
2 possessions
3.
for UConn, 1 for Purdue. If you're Purdue and say UConn makes a basket, do you go right back to E or try and make a 3? Can I get some momentum going? Like I think that's a very important play call going into halftime.
I think especially if they miss this, you take it all the way down and you try and get a shot within 5 to 6 seconds left on the shot clock.
Mhm.
Just limit UConn. You don't want to give them a chance to balloon this lead and like you say, get some momentum into the halftime. I think if you're Purdue, you're more so just playing to keep it close right now, and give yourself the best chance in the second half rather than trying to take the lead yourself. Because if not, they could go down and hit 2 threes on you just like that.
By the way, we got Heinies tonight. Did we
I
mention
did see
that?
The Jeffrey Anderson fan account. It's a great one. Guy traveled the country this year. He got those frequent flyer miles
Oh
up.
boy, is Klingon gonna
no.
3.
Oh boy, oh.
Can't hit.
See, that's a no right there.
Yeah,
The
I
offensive
He's feeling
board.
himself a little too much.
Well, because I mean,
Well, I'm saying on the offensive board for Purdue.
yeah, I mean that was brutal for both teams, right?
Mhm.
Like they're giving Klingon so much space where of course they're gonna let him shoot the ball, but then
wow, when he gets
yeah,
it.
Purdue gives up 2 offensive rebounds there.
Can't happen.
Yeah, no, we're talking about little details, right? In these championship games, and I think now you kind of have to go right into Edie and at least get a basket.
Got to get a bucket here.
Yeah, they're trying at least.
Wow, and a turnover.
Oh.
That's big.
There's your swing.
Yep.
Got 30 seconds.
All right, so
You're gonna
UConn
have to get a stop here.
36-30 first half spread was it 4, John?
Yeah. Yep, UConn
4?
by 4 was the trivia, and 2 points on the over/under here. So this will make or break that.
It's
foul
almost
either
like
for shit.
they knew what they were doing here with those lines, right? Always, all the time.
And here we go. About 3 seconds in between the shot and game clock.
Yeah, it's good defense. Oh, there you go. There's the curl. What a play!
And he can't hit.
Oh,
Get in.
The heave.
nothing.
Not
All right, so
bad.
UConn
All right,
covers
6
the first half. The first half stays under as well. 36-30. UConn. Oh man, that is going to be a fascinating first
Terrific half
2
basketball.
2 to 3 minutes in the second half. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better half of championship game basketball. John Jansen, here, come take the mic from one of us.
Yeah, you can hop in for me. I will say my last point on the first half.
Luke, come in as well.
Watching
I'm going on.
watching Purdue, I'm a little bit more scared, just kind of UConn giving that punch, but I need a break as well for food.
Ooh, beef getting some food. What are we getting, beef? What are we getting? What are you getting? Got to get some beef. Beef's got to get some beef. All right, so at the half, 36-30. Zach Edey looking fantastic. Sean Bernardron, is this the first time you've been on the mic today, Sean Bernardron?
No, I was hanging over there. until just now, but I thought
Long
I
weekend.
thought
Yeah.
beef was saying.
Jansen, the kitchen is closed.
Oh no,
Uh-oh.
the kitchen is closed. Sorry, sorry for beef as well. No beef for beef.
That hurts.
Beef will not get the beef. What's your beef? My beef is beef gets no beef.
Beef. The old classic.
So
Stopping it. Wow.
we are at Nick's Roast Beef over at Woodhaven Road. Fox Sports The Gambler, foxphlgambler.com. Download the iHeartRadio app as well. Also, thank you so much. We are out here for one reason only. Thank you to the KUTT Sports Betting App, KUTT.com. Show off the lovely t-shirt. Luke Arcani with the lovely logo. KUTT.com. Sign up. You can find it in the App Store. You can go to KUTT.com. You can download it from there and use the referral code GAMBLER. And when you sign up for the KUTT Sports Betting App. So right now, UConn leads 36-30. So far, Zach Edey looks absolutely phenomenal and is maybe the reason why Purdue can stay in this game somewhat, even though I'm not too encouraged by the way that half ended. So the fact that UConn was able to go on a couple of runs there, go up by 6 points, I think that's going to be a little bit tough for Purdue. But we're also right here. And this is thanks to BR Tech. We are doing and I think was the link sent out as well, I think, on our
I
social
believe it
media.
was.
So you can
Yes.
sign up.
It was on social media. We had it on the stream.
So it's really cool. There is a leaderboard here. So it was a bunch of questions. Is UConn, which one of them happened, is UConn going to win or be up by more than 4 at the end of the first half? Which, by the way, that answer grades out as yes. UConn leading by 6 at the half, more than 4. So a couple of those. By the way, Zach Edey was another one. Zach Edey, more than 12 points.
Cleared that
at
quick.
the first half. He cleared that halfway through the first half. He
Yeah.
had 14 points, 6 for 8 shooting. That's the thing that kind of worries me a little bit right now, I would say, for Purdue, is that it is all Zach Edey, and Zach Edey's going to have to continue to play this well for Purdue to even be in it. I just don't – I mean, I haven't seen it from anybody else at Purdue. Purdue's kind of getting beat pretty bad in all other areas right now. Obviously, Zach Edey's been dominant. Zach Edey's been getting offensive boards. They've been getting second chance opportunities. Purdue is getting everything they can out of Zach Edey. The problem is they're not really getting anything else, though.
Yeah, a complete internal attack that overall Purdue just 1 of 2 from beyond the 3-point arc. Just 2
You're
three-point
going to need
attempts.
more than 2 3-point shots.
Have to
be
have
UConn.
some sort of balance, especially because this is the second-ranked 3-point percentage shooting team in the country. That is one of your strengths. Go lean on it. And I will say that on the KUTT app, me and Sean Brace going head-to-head that I am on Purdue +7 tonight. Felt really good about that for most of the half. Don't quite love them closing with UConn leading by 6.
I don't like how they looked at the end of the first half.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you're worried about. You're worried about UConn making those runs and their offense. And any empty possession for Purdue just feels like a loss. I mean, it feels like it's such a big loss if these empty possessions keep happening, because UConn on the other end is scoring so great and so fast and so efficiently. Some of the other stats, Tristan Newton, by the way, he was there for the championship team last year. Tristan Newton, 11 points. He's leading the way for UConn, 4 of 8 from the floor, 1 of 1 from 3. UConn's only 3 of 9 for 3, which is not bad, 33%, but they're not shooting all that much. They're just getting inside, and they're getting a lot of easy buckets. Klingon, 3 of 6, 7 points. So it's been kind of easy for UConn. And again, if I'm going to be honest here, it does feel like UConn sort of took control of the game.
Yeah, and Beef over here chiming in saying the live line's sitting at 8.5. Doesn't make me feel great. Doesn't make me feel great as a Purdue +7 back.
I hate to say, Bernard, you should not be feeling great.
They just need somebody other than Edey. That there needs to be a Fletcher Lawyer or a Mason Gillis or anybody else to step up in.
Jones,
a couple
please.
shots. Yeah.
I'm surprised that Jones only has 3 points. Really, none of the guards. Braden Smith's doing well, 4 of 7, 1 of 1 from 3. Has their only 3-point shot made in this game. So I guess that's a good thing that they are getting Braden Smith involved and that he is playing as well as he is. But this seems very, and I know you want to go through Edey. I think it's a good thing to go through Edey.
You have
but
to.
This is very, very Edey heavy.
Well, the thing that with Edey specifically and why that I've had optimism about this Purdue team is this year specifically, it is that balance that you do have 3-point shooting. You do have this dominant interior force, but you got to use both. That when you are just focusing on battling in the interior, you lose that balance as an offense. And they have not been able to punish UConn. And UConn, to their credit, defending Zach Edey better than anyone in the country has been able to this season. That Donovan Clingan being able to look him in the eye, defend him one-on-one. When's the last time we've seen Zach Edey have one-on-one coverage?
I think, and Zach Edey's doing very well with it. But what I think UConn is living with is the fact that the perimeter, they don't want Purdue to win with 3-point shots.
Right.
Kind of living with Klingon could just stay one-on-one with him. You don't have to double team him as much, and you can be able to defend the perimeter as well as they are. And you kind of live with, hey, if Edey's going to go 7 for 12, so be it. He goes 7 for 12.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I think the one-on-one coverage matters here is when speaking about Purdue, once again, as the second best 3-point percentage shooting team, that's because you get open looks when they double down on Edey. That's not happening tonight, and they're not getting those looks as a result. Once again, 1 of 2 from 3. You got to find a way to generate more from beyond the perimeter like that. That's got to happen in the second half. They have to find a way.
Luke Arcania, how are we doing on the Phils?
Don't
How the Phils doing?
Don't ask.
Did Hoffman blow the
Bad
save?
news.
Hoffman blew the save.
Don't
It's tied up, isn't it?
Yeah, it's time.
What happened? Let us know what happened.
He threw the same pitch 3 times in a row.
Yikes.
Which one? Just a fastball down the middle? 3 times in a row?
Sliders right down the middle.
Right down the middle.
All
Yikes.
3
Sounds
times.
good.
Shout out to Garrett Stubbs. Good pitch calling there.
By the way, we're going to have joining us right now, Sean Bernard. You've been on the mic enough. Thank you, Sean Bernard. That is Sean Bernard. Follow him at Sean Bernard, 1 underscore in there somewhere. Underscore Sean. Yeah, underscore. Sixers looking good, Bernard. You might be right. Sixers might be good. I might be wrong. I'm probably wrong. Sixers look great. But joining us right now, so we are with KUTT, and KUTT has us out here. Yeah, the headphones are sometimes not going up, so let's see if I can give you a little bit of room there.
There we go.
So your name, by the way, say your name one more time for
Gardy Herb.
Gardy Herb. Gaurdie. Is that it?
Gardie.
Gardie. See, Power spelled it wrong, but that is a fantastic name.
Thank you.
But you are out here with BR Tech. So tell me what BR Tech is and what all was just set up and the leaderboard that we have here. What is BR Tech and what are they doing here with the
Yeah, so I think the best way to put BR Tech into perspective is, as you know, come to a bar, people are always arguing
like Nick's roast beef in Woodhaven.
Yep. Woodhaven Road are arguing about what's going on in the game. Gives you a reason to come to a bar. It's free to play. Leads you to a great app like KUTT, where it's a peer-to-peer betting where you can actually win money, but gives you a reason to come out to the bar and put your money where your mouth is. Not in reality with BR Tech, but with KUTT, it makes it fun.
Yeah, so what I do like about it is you came around with the QR code, signed up, and all you were getting were questions of. It's just pick and win, and it's yes or no questions. Things like, will UConn score the first three-pointer of the second half, which we're going to see here coming up soon? Will Purdue be the first team to score 20 points? Will Zach Edey have more than 12 points at the half? And as it's going on, and you can even see here, when you do sign up, you can see a leaderboard that shows up as well. This is pretty incredible. And the thing is that this doesn't just have to be with sports, too. We were just talking about it. Could be with any event. Maybe if you're like me, you love movies and you're having an Oscars watch party somewhere.
Yeah, you can make it about anything. I mean, you can make it about The Bachelor, Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, I'm in.
The Bachelor
I'm
sounds
in.
great.
Nah, I'm
I
in.
gotta finish
Bachelor in
with
Paradise.
Bachelor.
I mean, think about how many versions of The Bachelor they have just alone. I mean,
The Golden Bachelor, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that the old
I think
one?
so. But I mean, the biggest thing that I'd say about BR Tech is everybody likes to say yes. And so with the predict and win, with the questions
Like,
being yes or
everyone wants to
no,
take overs. Everyone wants to say yes.
yeah, life's too
We
short
want
to
it.
say no. And so
Yes.
with BR Tech, we're saying life's too short. Let's say yes.
Life's too short. Say yes. Didn't they make a movie about that? Isn't that a Jim Carrey movie where he just says yes to everything?
It
I
might
think
be.
so. Yes, man. I think it's called Yes, Man.
Or is that a Vince Vaughn? It sounds like a Vince Vaughn.
No, that does sound like a Vince Vaughn movie.
Oh yeah, like something
really
based in
does.
Chicago, maybe
Yeah.
Jennifer Aniston or some type of mid 2000s.
Oh, that's a great breakup movie.
That is
Fantastic one.
a
Vince Vaughn, Jennifer
phenomenal
Aniston,
rom
yeah.
com. I mean, if we want to
Yeah.
talk about bad rom coms, I'm your guy.
Oh, you're a rom-com guy.
Huge 27 Dresses, definitely my favorite.
Nice.
What is it? That awkward moment with Zac Efron and
Oh, I love Zac Efron.
Michael B. Jordan and Miles Teller. That's a phenomenal
hey, what a
one.
cast that is.
It's a hell of a trio.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Like, yeah, talk about an
that is-
ensemble cast.
Yeah, that is like if I'm thinking of rom-com trios, I mean that's like the mecca. That's like those
I mean,
guys. Jeez,
I've had a girlfriend for 5.5 years, but they're good looking guys.
very good-looking
Oh,
guys. Yeah.
Very good.
That is
Extremely.
very.
Shout out Miles Teller. Probably not
Yeah.
happy right now that the Phillies just blew a lead, but yeah. So where can they find BR Tech? How can they set all this up? If anybody wants to see this.
BR Tech, that QR code that was on the screen will be at the two major misconducts in Center City. If you're a big Arsenal fan, we'll be there on Saturday. If you're unfortunately for you guys, being diehard Sixers fans, I assume you're probably going to be in that play-in game on Tuesday. We'll be there
Oh, nice.
We'll be there.
Maybe
I mean,
not.
5 in a row is nice, but is that going to keep happening?
Yeah, that's a lot.
I don't know.
It's a
But
lot.
if that happens, we'll be there for that too. If not, we'll be
Nice.
there for the first round. Predicting, winning, hopefully.
Fantastic. So
Hopefully, we see you guys there.
yeah. Oh, you might see me there, definitely.
I hope
But
so.
great. By the way, you have a great story too. So you went to college in Canada.
I
You played
did.
lacrosse in Canada.
I did.
And how did you survive winters in Canada? How many layers to be able to walk just to class during a winter in Canada?
You've seen those memes where it's like, hey, it's warm out. I'm gonna break out that 31-piece patio set.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
a picture of Miller Lights and a soccer mom chair.
Yes.
See, I was putting on the 31-layer coat. So that's kind of come
What was it? You look like
January-
Ralphie in A Christmas Story, just like can't even move his
Oh
arms.
yeah, big time. Just
That's how you get the classes in Canada.
coming home from the bar too. You just get knocked over, just wiggling around in the snow, can't get up.
It sounds great. It sounds like a good time.
I mean, making snow angels when you've had a couple is a lot more fun than when you
Oh,
haven't.
that does sound fun.
Never. No doubt.
Sledding is better sober though.
Yeah, that definitely. Yeah. that's-
Disagree.
So,
Disagree.
so you played lacrosse. What position in lacrosse? What'd you do?
I'm a complete psychopath. I took face-offs.
Oh, yeah.
So,
that
yeah.
sounds like a psychopath.
Yeah, I just try to win possession and get off the field. I pretty much if you saw my legs, I know we're chest up podcast. If you saw my legs, you'd say this kid
Why do
doesn't
you
know
think we
how
have
to
you
run.
behind a table right now?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you saw my legs, you know I couldn't run.
So it's just face-offs.
Yeah,
Love it.
Yeah, just get the ball, give it to the people.
By the
who
way,
can
we
score.
are a fan of the Philadelphia Wings here. Our guy Sean Brace, program director, did the in-arena announcing for the Philadelphia Wings this season. So we're big lacrosse fans here.
I mean,
Let's go Wings.
Let's go
if-
Wings.
If you've never been to an NLL game, you're missing out.
I
You
have,
are-
and I really
you
need
are
to go.
missing-
I really need to go.
You're missing out. Like, think about how fast basketball is.
Yeah,
Think
it's a
about that
very
type of
fast-paced game.
offense. Then think about this. They get in fights like hockey, except they're not on skates. It is literally just two dudes toe to toe punching the living daylights out of each other.
Oh, it's great.
Sold.
And they're all from like Peterborough, Ontario, and
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
if they weren't playing in the NLL would be working, construction, maybe logging, something like that. Like they are the salt of the earth, You want to see those guys. Like if North
I do
Philly met
love-
with
Get
box
down,
lacrosse,
get down.
that's what the NLL
Yes.
is.
Come on.
Are you
Sorry,
watching
I'm
Philly's
watching
game?
Phil's
Okay.
here.
Phil scored a run.
Okay, how about Anthony Volpe? I mean, I know you guys are Philly guys, but
good start to
Look at him.
Yeah. Good for Volpe. Volpe is a good player. So thanks again to everyone. We'll wrap it up here at the half. Thanks to Beef, Ryan Coyle, Sean Bernard, repping the KUTT app t-shirt as well. Thanks to Joe Tanzi for coming out. Mike Powers. You want to get Joe Tanzi back on? What do you want to do, Mike Powers? Mike Powers is giving me directions. Thanks to Ty. Look at Ty back there. Got everything going with the technology. He's got the mixer, the computer, getting us all ready to go. Where are we going back and forth? Oh, going back and forth from the camera. Yeah, he's getting everything set up. Luke Arcaney. Unfortunately, Luke is sweating out this Phillies game. And by your name one more time.
Gardy.
Rhymes
with party. Some other
Party.
words that rhymes with,
Because
but we're not
first I
going
thought
to say
you
that.
said Cardi. That's also a name, like Cardi B.
Yeah,
Cardi B,
I
but
know. I wish.
Cardi B.
Cardi
Maybe.
B.
I wish I had her money.
Yeah.
Also, my
Yeah.
last name's her, like the potato chips. Everybody
Get
always,
out.
Yeah, but I'm not.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not related to them, but I wish.
You're not.
Think about that
Nice.
money. Like that's just those
That was my neck of the
song
woods.
vinegar chip.
I lived by the Hearst
Gonna get
factory in
another run
Nottingham.
in, John
Yeah.
Jansen. Sorry.
Uh,
Apologies. Back to our.
So I think
regular
I'm wrapping it up
schedule.
here. Mike Powers was telling me, giving me directions, but I guess we're wrapping it up. Thanks again one more time to our friends at KUTT, the sports betting app, KUTT.com. Download the app and peer-to-peer betting. Use the referral code GAMBLER when you sign up. And BR Tech as well. Thanks for BR Tech for coming out. That was fantastic.
Come out to
So the
Misconduct
leaderboard is
this
going to
week.
be misconduct over there with BR Tech. But we'll be checking the leaderboard. Sean Bernard, who's in last right now? I need to know who's in last. Ty's in last. I knew it was going to be somebody here
The
on
bottom,
the Gambler
the
team.
bottom three actually are Sean Bernard, Sean Brace, and Ty. So
That
there
is
we
a
go.
fantastic bottom three. Thanks to everyone for joining us. All socials, Fox PHL Gambler, foxphlgambler.com is where you can find us as well. Daily Ticket will be on tomorrow. Who knows if I'll be there. I need a day of rest at some point. But thanks to everyone for coming out right here over at Nick's Roast Beef on Woodhaven Road. Go UConn. Go UConn. Go Huskies.
Cut.